want, what you want.
Hello, I'm Jason from Jason7.com. Today, since I've had so many requests for this and I've come across so many people asking me about this, I'm going to have a short video about empaths and psychic self-defense. Exactly what is an empath? Well, there's a huge, wide range of definitions about what an empath is, what empathy is, and that sort of thing. But for our purposes and in our community, an empath is someone who can feel other people's feelings. It's almost as if other people's feelings are their own. Myself, I fall into this category, and a lot of times it's very confusing. You don't really realize who's feeling what. And for the longest time, I thought it was just me. I thought just for some reason I'm just all depressed today. And little did I know it was actually I was feeling someone else's depression. I was feeling someone else's negative feelings. Or when I'm driving in traffic, most people are angry anyway, but I feel all of that around me, and I have hundreds of people around me that are all angry, and I feel it, and it just really, really drains me. And that's the biggest complaint that I've heard, is that people that are empathic find themselves in these situations, whether it's traffic, whether it's going to the grocery store, Walmart, or the mall, or concerts, or whatever, social functions. Anytime that they're in a crowd of people, they just get overwhelmed. I call it energetic overload, because these people that are empathic like me have no way of filtering it out and discerning and noticing and catching it and realizing, hey, this isn't mine, this is somebody else's. And as a result, we as empaths, we tend to hold all our energy and our aura in really close. And that's absolutely the worst thing that you can do. Because what that does is that brings your fence, your fortress walls, your yard border in so close that anything and everything and everyone can get very close to you, and it equates to energetic claustrophobia. And that's why after you've been to the mall, or you've been to a concert, or you've been to one of these places for so long, or you've spent all day at a fair or a social gathering or something, you just feel completely drained at the end of the day. That's why, because you're holding this in for so long. That takes a lot of energy, and it's so close, and it's just, it basically burns you out. So what I want to say is there's two things you need to do. You need to learn how to push out that aura. You need to learn how to set boundaries, and you need to practice that constantly and consistently. And that's exactly what I did to learn how to deal with. I used to go to the grocery store at midnight. I used to go to the movies during the day, all so that I could avoid crowds of people. Now I can go anywhere, anytime, with any number of people. And I'm not immune to it, but when I do start feeling it, I can say, whoa, wait a minute, I'm starting to get a little overwhelmed, a little anxious, anxiety starting to build up a little bit. I'll push it right back out there and stake my yard, so to speak. And once you learn how to push out that aura, you need to practice it. You need to go places. You need to challenge yourself. You have to do it. You don't have to do it all at once or all overnight, but just do it in little baby steps. The first thing I did once I realized what was going on, thanks to some websites and some books, one of the books was The Highly Sensitive Person by Elaine Aron. And there was another book by a lady named Parstek, I believe. I'll put links to those in this post. But the first thing I did was I went to the bookstore and I walked around as many people as possible. And it was just so amazing to be able to realize that, hey, yeah, all of a sudden I'm feeling this feeling, I don't want to be here or whatever, and realize that, oh, it's this guy over here with his wife and they're having an issue, and that's where all that uncomfortable feeling is coming from. It was such a relief to realize that that's where it was coming from. So practice. I can't stress that enough. Start going out there. Maybe, and what I did for a long time, and I still do it to this day, I'll go to the grocery store and only buy a couple of things. Because I only want to be in there for a short period of time. Sometimes when I'm feeling a little more vulnerable, I'll go in there, I'll get a couple of things, exactly what I need tonight or whatever, and I'll leave. And then I'll go back in the next day, get a couple more things. Go back in the next day, get a couple more things. Don't try to spend an hour and a half in the grocery store right at first if you know that that's overwhelming to you. Just start easy. Give yourself little. You don't learn how to run a marathon in a day. You train up for it. You start running a mile, and then after a few weeks, when you're comfortable with a mile, you work up to 3 miles, and etc., etc. So there's actually 2 techniques that people teach for dealing with this kind of energetic overload. The first technique is shielding, and that's the most popular, and that's what you're going to hear about the most is like creating this white light shield around your aura. Basically what this is doing is setting up a fortress where nothing can come in, nothing can penetrate. And I think that's okay in the beginning, and I went that route and started with that, and it seemed to work out okay for me. But what that is actually is an energy blockage. It's not an energy blockage inside your own body, but it's an energy blockage between you and other people, which, if you believe that we're all part of the whole, we're all part of each other, we're all connected, then it's an energy blockage in the grand scheme of things. So that's not the ideal situation, but it will work. You know, if you need to stick your finger in the dam to stop the chaos that's happening right now, that's a good way to do it, because it's really easy to comprehend and it's really easy to work with. So go ahead and work with that, but just realize that that's not your ultimate goal. The second technique, and I don't believe this is widely taught, but it's what I call flowing. I haven't actually even seen this described exactly, but what I've realized is that instead of having, you know, this boundary and this rock hard fortress, to just leave it open and be able to interact with all of the energy entities around you. And because you are one, you are connected to everyone and everything. And it clears up that blockage, and it allows your energy to flow to other people, and allows their energy to flow to you. And what that does is it just allows that flow. And sometimes you'll receive energy that maybe you're not comfortable with. Maybe you are not interested in keeping it. Well, that's the great thing about it. You can just let it go somewhere else. Just look at it. Hey, I'm not interested in this. I really feel uncomfortable with it, or whatever the case may be, and just let it go on its way. Just take it into this yard, so to speak, and then let it go somewhere else. You don't have to take it into your core. You don't have to take it into your heart. I think that's what a lot of people mistake. You know, just because something is in your energy field doesn't mean that it has to be deep inside. You can let something into your energy field to kind of determine, hey, I'm not so sure about this. How about you go somewhere else? And you can make it go that way. I think maybe it's a little bit more advanced, and maybe you should start with the blocking just so that you can realize that you can't control that. In fact, I recommend doing a short meditation every day where you just imagine your aura, and you just imagine that aura filling up the room and then coming back in to a comfortable level. And when you first start, like, just imagine your aura and pay attention to where it's at. If you're in your house and you feel comfortable in your house, then your aura may be more, you know, expanded. But just notice where it is. Notice where your aura is, and then go ahead and push it out to the edge of the room. Push it out to the house, and then bring it back into what's comfortable for you, and work on that, and work on just how it feels. And you're gonna think this is all in my imagination, and that's okay. Just keep working with it, and keep working with it, and keep doing it, and you'll be surprised how fast it makes a difference. Another thing you can do is, while you're doing that, afterwards, go through each of your chakras. And I'll cover chakras in another video, but basically they're the energy centers of the body. There's 7 common chakras, from the root at the bottom of your pelvis all the way up to your crown chakra at the top of your head. And just, if you know what those are and you're familiar with those, just imagine starting at the root chakra and expanding that out to the edges of the room, and then bringing it back in and watching it spin and watching what it does and where it is when it starts, and just expand it out, bring it back in to a comfortable place, and then go to the next one, go to the orange chakra, and then expand that out and bring it back in, and go through that, and that'll really, really sync up your body and your energy. That's the end of the video. Let me know if you liked it and what it is that you liked about it. And if it really helped you, I would love to hear your story. So post it here or send me an email or whatever. And also, please check out my Facebook fan page at Jason7 on Facebook. And follow me on Twitter at Jason7, which is Jason SEVN. Thank you. What you want? What you want? Come on.